Some revolutions are loud. They arrive with gunfire, with armies, with flags. But others begin in silence, in a kitchen, in a cup, in a single drop of poison. Tonight, we tell the story of the woman the slave masters feared more than rebellion itself, because she didn't fight with weapons. She fought with patience, and she won. This is the story of Zacimba Gaba. Long before she was enslaved, Zacimba Gaba was royalty. She was born in the Cabinda region of Central Africa, in what is now Angola, into a ruling family, a princess raised in power, diplomacy and ceremony, a woman who understood leadership before she ever understood chains. But the Atlantic slave trade did not spare royalty, it consumed kingdoms. And one day it came for her. Captured, shackled, shipped across the ocean, a princess was turned into cargo. Like millions of Africans, she was forced into the nightmare passage to Brazil, one of the largest slave societies in the world. But unlike most enslavers believed, Zacimba did not arrive broken. She arrived watching, waiting, remembering who she was. She was sold to a plantation owner named José Trancoso. Historical records describe him as cruel, a man who ruled through terror. Enslaved people were beaten, starved, and humiliated as a system of control. And he believed, like many slave owners, that fear guaranteed obedience. But Zacimba understood something he did not. Fear also breeds strategy. She did not rebel immediately. She did not scream. She did not run. She studied every habit, every weakness, every routine, and slowly she began her revenge. Zacimba used knowledge carried from Africa, knowledge slave owners underestimated, botanical knowledge, venom, toxins. According to historical accounts, she prepared poison from the crushed head of a venomous snake, a substance deadly in small doses but invisible in food. She didn't strike once, she poisoned him gradually, a sickness with no explanation, a decline with no obvious cause, a master haunted by his own mortality. He was being killed by the woman he believed he owned. Day by day, his body failed, and when he finally died, Zacimba did not mourn, she moved. His death was not the end, it was the signal. Zacimba led a revolt. Enslaved people rose with her, overthrowing plantation control and fleeing into the forests and coastline. There, they founded a Quilombo, a hidden community of escaped Africans living beyond colonial authority. But Zacimba was not content with escape. She built canoes. At night, her group raided slave ships arriving on the Brazilian coast. They freed captives before they could even reach the auction block. She turned resistance into an operation, a liberation network, a counter-empire in the shadows, and for slave traders, she became a ghost story, a warning whispered among the powerful. There is a woman in the forest who kills masters and steals their slaves. Slave societies were obsessed with one fear above all others: poison. Across the Americas, enslavers lived with constant paranoia that their food, their drink, their medicine could be turned against them. Women were especially feared because they cooked, they prepared meals, they worked close, and men in power knew something terrifying. The system depended on people who hated them. Zacimba Gaba became the embodiment of that fear, a real woman whose story blurred into legend. Some tales exaggerated her methods, others mythologized her into folklore, but the core truth remains. She used intelligence over force, strategy over rage, and she won freedom not just for herself, but for others. History often remembers kings and generals, but revolutions are also built by women in kitchens, by prisoners who refuse to forget their names, by people who turn survival into resistance. Zacimba Gaba was not just a victim of slavery, she was an architect of rebellion, a strategist, a liberator, a princess who never stopped being a princess, even in chains. And her story reminds us, oppression always believes it is permanent until the moment it collapses from within, sometimes from a single drop. This is RearView TV, where we revisit the past to understand the power hidden inside it, because history is not only what was done to us, it is also what we did back. And Zacimba Gaba made sure the world would never forget.